Chapter 2, I explain how I made a grand move all the way from the Soviet Union, the far east of Russia, to the United States. I first landed in Texas, but then here in this segment that I'm sharing, I'm starting in Miami. So from Russia to Texas to Miami, and most importantly, this is the time before I found mindfulness and meditation, and here I share what emotions were going through me, and unfortunately, I did not get much help and the tools to help me cope with it. So here we go. Chapter 2, The American Dream. During my first year in the United States, I felt lonely and misplaced. Without knowing how to deal with these emotions, I poured myself into my studies and work. To make for the lack of emotional security, I was doing double the effort compared to other students and colleagues, only to exhaust myself physically and mentally. It worked in the moment because my workload distracted me from my emotional pain, but it backfired later. Around Thanksgiving break, I visited Miami. It was love at first sight. The exotic palm trees and beaches were an exact contrast to gloomy Russia and the space of the lonely Star State. I loved the abundance of the parties and the Latin America community presence. I also wanted to pursue a degree in hospitality, and Miami was home of Florida International University, one of the best hospitality schools in the nations. By Christmas, I waved goodbye to everyone I knew in Texas without much explanation. At last, I felt like I have found a way to replace my connection with nature. It was in Miami where I regained the ability to dissolve into nothingness and to be free, open, and joyful again. But instead of being in nature as I did when I was a kid in the far, far mountains of Russia, I was finding solace in the house music and drinks of Miami nightclubs and endless parties. The world would disappear. My body would feel free in the movement of dance. My mind and emotions were uplifted from alcohol and smoking, made me feel high on life again, until I woke up the next day. The morning after a party was always horrible. The higher I would get at night, the lower I would drop in the morning. The hangovers, dehydrations, headache, irritation, negativity made me barely functional at work at school. It was too high a price to pay of the inner freedom that I was attempting to replicate, but I didn't know about any other alternatives. It worked, and I craved it. I was slowly suiciding. The rest of the story you will be able to read in the book Next Level You that will be released December 10th on Amazon Kindle and then shortly in hardcover and paperback copy. Next video, we'll move on to Chapter 3.